Welcome to Kenpo University. My name's Al Babinick, and I'm your instructor. Opposing forces. You know what? I never got a definition for opposing forces, so this is just the one that I use and how I think about it. All right, so this isn't like an official one that you'll see anyplace, but opposing forces is two strikes or motions that go directly towards or away from each other. Okay, and it could be on different angles and stuff like that, but it's two strikes or motions that are going directly towards or away from each other. Now, we use these all the time. You just may not know that you're doing it, all right? Have you ever thought, what is the power principle on a sandwich? If I'm doing a sandwich, which, by the way, when you're doing a sandwich, we can do it from the side, we can do it from the front, we can do it from the back. Most of the ones that we're doing are from the front. Okay, so on a front sandwich where you're trying to get in there, you're going to hit the jaw hinge right here and the jaw hinge right here, and you want to use the heel of the palm. So you shouldn't have your heel of the palm on his chin with your fingers back there. You should have this all the way back and hitting in there, and then your elbow is all the way back hitting here. I always see people doing sandwiches like this, where, do you see how my fingertips are on the end of my elbow? Like that? It should be like that. If you know, and this is high or low. Do you notice if I try to keep it in the middle, it has to bend? You don't want to do that. If you think about all the techniques that end with a sandwich, that's how many extensions start with a sandwich. So if from here, I can hit high. If I was down here, I can hit low or do a double hit or whatever. So when you're learning your sandwiches, you can't go heel palm to elbow if your hand is like in here someplace. This either has to be on top or below. When I teach, I know what's going to come up extension-wise, so I just always teach my students, oh, go high on this one, go low on that one. If they ask me why, I'll just hit them. So trust me, it's funny they like that. But when you're doing a sandwich, you're trying to hit with the heel of the palm and the elbow way back here. Okay, or if you're doing it from the side or from the back or whatever, you get the idea. You're not hitting with your fingertips back here and your palm on his jaw, all right? So usually, because that is a very short-range weapon, we have to shuffle in, all right? Unless he's coming towards us, we have to shuffle in. So if I was doing, I don't know, doesn't matter. I'm just standing here. I'm going to sandwich somebody. I just feel like it. And they're right there. I just chopped them in the throat, hammer fisted them, and I'm coming back up. If I shuffle in to get my sandwich, okay, so the shuffle, that's backup mass. Did that have anything to do with the sandwich? No. Was it marriage of gravity? No. Was it torque? No. I didn't turn that much, you know. So the power principle on a sandwich is opposing forces, because you have your elbow coming in this way, you have your palm coming in this way, directly towards each other, and they're meeting in the middle. So an example of an inward example of opposing forces is a sandwich, all right? Because the backup didn't have anything to do with it. Now, just to let you know, sometimes when we shuffle, we're going to go in and shuffle and then crush down and take your forearm bone and go through the collarbone, crush down through the collar. So for the second strike, the forearm, I used marriage of gravity. Okay, so that was going to be marriage of gravity as I dropped down. So that's an example of inward. An example of, oh, by the way, what was I doing? Snapping twig out of purple. I just didn't do the whole technique, but that was snapping twig out of purple. For an example of an outward, I'm going to hoof it all the way up to brown, and we're going to do grasping eagles. Now, grasping eagles, I'm going to do a little bit on an angle for you. So it's eagles, keyword. If you don't know what your keywords mean, check out those videos, okay? But the keyword If it's a bird, it's a grab, and it's eagles. So it's 2 grabs. So guy's got me my shirt pretty much where my patch is from the front, so he's got his right hand there, and a guy's grabbed me from behind. So when I do grasping eagles, my opposing forces, I'm going to hit inward, downward on that arm. Don't hit that arm across your face. Not a good idea. Hit a little bit downward diagonal. So as I drop, I'm dropping to establish my base. I can't kick very well from a stiff leg. So as I drop, my hands are coming up, and I'm hitting with a hammer fist back and a kick in. So opposing forces there, and then if I crane that arm out of the way, this is hitting out like that. So I got my double palms on that also. So grasping eagles is an example of opposing forces going directly away from each other, okay? So like an inward, downward block. So I could look at that. Do you see how these are coming straight away from each other? So if I was doing, I guess I was doing thrusting salute. If I was doing thrusting salute, I could start with my hands up. No, don't kick me, because I want to have him target down there. You could start hands down too. Who cares, right? So, but as I step back, this is going down. As these come back, do you see how they're coming back on the same line? So that's going down, that's coming out. So that rip the rag principle or idea is kind of opposing forces, if you think about it. So there's some examples for you of opposing forces, how we use them, and what it is. And this might help you a lot, by the way, because there's opposing forces and borrowed force. Opposing forces, and this is just a way to think about it to keep them straight. Opposing forces is something we're doing, okay? Borrowed force is something they're helping us with. So if I kick somebody in the groin and their head starts shooting towards my hand, then they're moving into us, okay? So if you think about opposing forces as something we do, and borrowed force as something they help us with, you'll be able to figure out, am I using borrowed force or am I using opposing forces a little bit easier, okay? So that really helped me out when I figured that one out. So hope it helps you too. Thank you for watching this video production from Kenpo University.